Hi, my name's Ishmael and today we're going to be talking about green home grants, EPCs and heat pumps in particular. So, why am I talking about heat pumps in particular? Because there is a grant. Finally, a grant for landlords. Now we spoke about this before, or the government spoke about this before, saying that we're going to be giving grants to landlords and homeowners. However, it didn't really materialise properly, the last grant scheme, and it fell on its face. So hopefully this one will be different. Now, they're giving £5,000 from April 2022 for homeowners and landlords to push their EPC up. Now, this is a contribution towards air-to-air or ground source heat pumps as an alternative to boilers. Now, that means that you can take your boiler out, you can put your ground source heat pump or air source heat pump in, which is great. Air source heat pumps are apparently between £6,000 and £8,000. Now I know if you're doing an air source heat pump for just heating, I know someone who can do it less than that. They can do it for under £4,000. However, they don't have the grant attached to them at the moment. I don't know if they're registering for the grant because this is quite new and I haven't spoken to them about it since. But £5,000 towards this heating system, which could be £6,000 to £8,000, is great. Why? Because normally a boiler change could be somewhere between £2,000, £2,500. Very rarely do you get it under £1,500, and very rarely does it go above £3,000 for a boiler change, which means that around about £2,000 is the cost. Now, if you're getting a £5,000 grant and it costs you £7,000 for the changeover, then it costs you £2,000 in effect because the £2,000 you have to come out of your pocket, which that is the cost of changing a boiler, which is great news because that means that all this hype about people saying the EPC's this, the EPC's that, is not going to work, it's not going to work, and they won't introduce it, I think it's a load of rubbish. They are going to introduce a C or above for landlords. This grant is a proof as concept what they are actually going to do. Why? Because if they're bringing out the grant, then obviously they are going to be really bringing out the EPC standards. Otherwise, why would they give people free money? Makes no sense. So all these people who say they're not going to bring the EPC out, I believe you're wrong. Only time will tell. But this grant, I believe, backs up what I believe, which is they are definitely bringing out the grade C or above by 2025 to 2028, depending on whether you are got existing tenants or new tenancies. So that's one thing. However, in Scotland, you've got even better news. Why? Because in Scotland, they are bringing out a grant for this, but they're also bringing out an interest-free loan. Now, this interest-free loan, what does that mean? It means you can borrow up to £15,000 for a loan to put a ground source heat pump in. Yes, ground source heat pumps are more expensive, generally anywhere between £8,000 and £18,000, but you can borrow £15,000 interest-free loan. Now, I don't know the terms of the loan because they haven't been detailed yet, but it means that you can install the ground source heat pump for free, although you have to pay back the loan. But that can come out of your monthly costs of your property, and therefore you don't necessarily have to sell up to actually be able to pay for all these improvements in your properties. How does this affect you as a potential landlord or as a current landlord? It means that every new property you get on, you should be looking right now, because in 4 years' time is not that long. Right now you should be looking for an EPC high enough or achievable to bring that property up to an EPC high enough to be a pass, i.e. a C or above. If you're getting a property that is off-grid, as in no mains gas, or even with mains gas, if it's a stone-built building, it will not pass the EPC with mains gas. You are going to need more alternative options, not just double glazing, not just mains gas, and not just loft insulation. You're going to either need wall insulation, cavity wall insulation on top, solar panels, or some other source of heating which is renewable. And that is the only way you'll bring the EPC up to a C or above. So every time you're looking at buying a property, make sure you have the option of bringing that EPC up. Because if you do not have the option of bringing that EPC up, you're going to be stung in a few years' time when you're forced to sell those properties. If you like this channel, subscribe, whack the bell notification icon to get notified of videos coming out each and every week. Don't forget, these grants, these loans, they're very important to you as a landlord. So make sure you keep up to date with what loans are available, when they come out, and take first mover advantage on them. Because these loans they are talking about £45 million worth of loans. Sounds like a lot, but when you're talking about £5,000 each, guess what? It soon disappears. You're only talking about 900,000 loans. It sounds like a lot, but it's not. Why? Because there's 1.2 million landlords in the UK, or 1.2 million homes, rented properties, which means not all the landlords can get it. Point one. Point two, this is for homeowners as well, which means that homeowners are more likely to take advantage of this than landlords because they live in their house, they're paying the bills, which means they're going to be moving quickly. So if you don't move quickly, you will not get this grant and you will be stung later on because they may or may not bring out another wave of grants to help with landlords who can then bring their EPC down.